Alright, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD, or Application and Website Development Program, and in particular the AWD 1111, or .NET Framework with Web Databases class, I've created, or been creating, a series of videos based on the textbook that will be used for the class for the fall 2019 semester. The book, as you can see on screen right now, is ProASP.NET MVC 5, an A-Press publication from Adam Freeman. I am in the confines of my office right now, so again, if the acoustic sound a little different, that's probably why. Alright, so let's get going. So far, we have gone through the first 10 chapters. I'm not going to read these, just other than to say we've got 4 chapters down, so to speak, on the sports score application. 2 more to go, and then talk a little bit about deployment. So Chapter 11, which starts on page 275, is entitled Administration, and as the author says here, in this chapter, I continue to build the sports score application in order to give the site administrator a way of managing the product catalog. I will support basically CRUD operations, or creating, editing, and removing items from the repository, as well as uploading and displaying images alongside products in the catalog. All right. The convention for managing collections is to present the user with 2 types of pages, a list page and an edit page. Again, this is management, so if we want to come in here and do this, so the price of a kayak changes, or we spelled water sports wrong, or whatever. So as it says, this is a sketch of a CRUD UI for the product catalog. Together, these pages allow a user to create, read, update, and delete items in the collection. When they say a user, too, it's more, I would look at it being as more an administrator. Collectively, again, the actions are known as CRUD. Developers need to implement CRUD so often that Visual Studio tries to generate controllers that have CRUD action methods. But like all Video Studio templates, I think it's better to learn it directly. Author speaking here. So we're going to create a new controller in our web UI, and it's going to be empty, and it's going to be called admin controller, as you can see right there. So, as we've done several times, let's go in here and go into our web UI where we are, and in here go into controllers, right mouse click, let's double check and make sure we don't have an admin. We don't. Add controller, empty, and it is called admin controller, which again will give us an admin controller here and an empty folder right there. All right, edit the contents of the file so they match what is shown on the top of page 276. So here's what we have, and as the author says, the controller constructor declares a dependency on the iProduct repository interface, which Ninject will resolve when instances are created. The controller defines a single action method called index, which calls the view method to select the default view, passing the set of products to the database, or as the view model. Again, I'm going to skip the unit test, which is on the rest of 276, and top half of 277, and I'm going to go on. Again, I can't say this to you too many times. It's not that unit testing isn't important. I just don't know, with already having 90 videos out there that I've done so far this summer, how I would get, if I kept going through and until I made every unit test work. I don't think I'd ever finish this. So, creating a new layout. I'm going to create a new layout to use with the Sports Score admin views. It will be a simple layout that provides a single point where we can apply all changes to all administration views. Create the new layout by clicking on Views, Shared. Done this before. There is Views. There is Shared. Add new item, and we want to add an MVC5 layout page with Razor. MVC5 layout page with Razor. Looks like that one to me. And we want to set the name to _admin layout.cshtml and click OK or add, and we see it right there. The author mentions after this, as mentioned previously, the convention is to start the layout name with an underscore. Razor is also used by another Microsoft technology known as Web Matrix, which uses the underscore to prevent layout pages from being served to browsers. MVC does not need this protection, but the convention is carried over anyway. All right. Next, we are to go in here and we are to add the code that is shown on 277 and 278. As always, don't worry, because we've only got part of the code in here. And as the author mentions here, on 278, we have added the call to the render body method so that the contents of the view that the layout is being used for will be inserted into the response to the server. If we had done an add new item menu option and used the Visual Studio layout template, we could have avoided doing this, but the author says that we took a shortcut to create the view directly, meaning we have to edit the new file to get the content required. We've also added link elements for Bootstrap files and for a CSS file right here, including that errors file that we looked at earlier. All right. Implementing the list view. Okay, I'm on the bottom half of page 278. Check my time. Fine. Now that we have a new layout, we can add a view to the project for the index method. Even though the author says I'm not a fan of the Visual Studio scaffold and template, we're going to create the view for the index method using the scaffold system just so you can see how it works. Just because I don't like the pre-cut code, the author says, doesn't mean you shouldn't use it. So we're going to follow the steps that you see right here. We're going to right mouse click on the Views Admin folder. Alright, sorry about that. I had somebody walk in here. And we are going to implement the list view right now. I don't think we've done it yet. Alright. In fact, this has been a little bit disjointed because, again, I had a bunch of this done. And then somebody walked in, which was totally their right. I don't mean to say that it wasn't. But I think I'm going to come back and talk about implementing the list view in the next lecture. So I'll be back with that lecture shortly.